Yeah. So yeah, all five of us make a jerseys. No. Hold on, but he's like, I don't know.
Okay, so can I see me or no?
Now I can see you.
Okay, so this one, long division, this one a homework question. A lot of you guys probably didn't do it or didn't get the right answer. But what happened is actually there was skipping degrees here. Okay, Lenny, pay attention. Put your computer away. I throw a computer out today.
What?
Yeah. So 3x to the third, right? So now if you pay attention, that's the third degree, and then it go to the first degree. So there was a skipping degree. So then you had to including that degree in there to hold in place, called placeholder. And plus 4x minus 10, and then if I do x plus 2 now, it should work a lot better. So anytime that you have skipping degrees, so they not only happen in this called dividend and divisor, it can happen in both places. Actually, sometimes like a harder question, they can even do this without a -10. Then you should do plus 0 here. So with a harder question, they can do that. It'll throw you off because you say, oh yeah, there's no skipping degrees, but however, you just skip the constant. The constant need to be replaced with a 0. Sometimes can be like that. So today's homework, I'm gonna give it to you where you can have answers, so you can check your answers, see if it's right. So now you are in the 2 spaces, so you're gonna start a second space. You should be able to do it before me, and you should get the correct answers. So I'll give you a minute to get a head start before I do it. So the main thing is you have to remember this placeholder there. A lot of you guys forget, says, okay, placeholder, you skipped it, and you end up the degrees not multiplied by each other. Then you get a pencil, paper. Somebody have some. Okay, so those 2 places, I'm gonna start in like 10 seconds. I will not start right here. I will start right here in this space, right? So then you will have 3x to the square. So then that's going to be 3x to the third plus 6x to the square. So again, I will do the subtracting sum. Now I do a little bit different than other teacher. I just told students just go through the circles here. So it'll be 3x cubed subtract 3x cubed. This part is going to give me 0. That's your idea, that's your goal, is to make sure that's 0. Here is going to be subtracting, so that's going to give you a -6x squared plus 4x. I'm going to drop another term here. Now I'm going to get rid of this -6x squared, so it'll be -6x. Because I want to have exact same sign as this, so they can subtract it off. So -6 times x is -6x squared. -6x plus 2 is going to be -12x. Can you subtract again?
No, you will not. You will add.
So now this one's going to subtract. Now this one is going to go to 0. This one's going to be minus negative, so it's going to be 16x minus 10. And then you're going to be plus 16. This is 16x plus 32. But again, you had to go through this minus sign, so that must be minus 42. So my answer is going to be 3x squared minus 6x plus 16 minus 42 all over x plus 2. So those are the easier cases, but the problem is they will have a placeholder. Now, I want you to pay attention to this one. I'm going to rewrite the question down in black so that will show us better on the screen. How many placeholder are they? Pay attention though. It might be a trick question.
What do you mean placeholder?
How many placeholder? Now, how many skipping term there is?
It's one.
One.
Huge one. There's 2. That is all 1.
Pay attention.
Zero.
There's two. Wait, what?
How many placeholder on this question?
Wait, placeholder as in what? The thing at the top?
The thing
They're
that's
the same, they're the same question.
And then that one.
Wait, he's just gonna do
32.
one.
Two.
They have two.
There's two.
Yes.
There are two. There is a here, so the fifth degree to 3
Oh.
degrees. This is an x to the 4. I hear there's an x here.
I haven't seen that before.
So yeah, sometimes it can happen like that. So it's gonna be, you're gonna rewrite it like this: 3x to the 5th plus 0x to the 4th plus 4x squared minus 12x minus 8. Now when I do it,
But why 0x to the 4th?
oh, that's
Just you're not teacher adding anything.
plus 0x to the 4 minus x to the 3 plus 4x squared minus 12x minus 8 over x squared plus 0x minus 2. Guys, can you knock it off? Nicholas. Now,
0x to the 4th.
You go to the third number, right?
now you see here, you don't start at the first one because there's 3 terms here. That's why you need to pay attention with how many terms they are. You don't start at first space. You start at second space? No, because the 3 term cannot go into 2 term. 3 term can go into 3 term. So then that's gonna be the third 3x to the 3rd, I think. That's gonna be 3x to the 5 because that exponent's gonna add plus 0x to the 4th and a minus 6x to the 3rd. So again, it's minus sign.
So,
Yeah.
so what if he's doing is the 3x cubed at the top is gonna like. you
Multiply
add
by
it-
this.
You multiply to that and then. you
And
do
then
that.
you're gonna replace the order here. So it'd be 3x cubed times x squared is 3x fifth. And here is gonna times this.
So we're gonna- Okay.
And 3x cubed times 2 is gonna be negative 6x to the 3rd. So this one's gonna be plus, so it's gonna be 5x to the 3rd plus 4x squared. Now again, this one is gonna drop, right? So there is nothing here because I cannot divide it to 2 terms. Can I divide it into 2 terms? Because I have 3 terms there. So what do? I actually gonna add a 0x squared. Just like when you're doing long division with 3 digits and 4 digits, sometimes you're gonna have to do this. You're gonna have to replace the 0 and drop another things down, so you have enough digit to divide. So then you're gonna go to here, then you're gonna drop another one, so it'll be negative 12x. So you say, okay, now I have enough, so I'm gonna plus 5x. So that's gonna be 5x to the 3 plus 0x to the 2nd minus 10x.
But why do you plus 5x?
Because you want to get rid of 5x to the 3rd. If it's a negative here, then you want to make sure it's negative, end up to be.
Oh, okay.
So now it's a 5x cubed subtract 5x cubed. This one's going to be 0. 5x cubed, 4x cubed subtract this is going to be 4x squared. And this one's going to be plus 2x and a minus 8. I'm going to add one more term here, plus
How's it plus 2x?
You gotta get rid of the
Isn't it
4x.
negative, isn't it negative 2?
negative 2x. You're right. So sometimes we miss
So you would
up.
you'd have to get rid of the 4x squared.
Yeah.
And then you just put plus 4 and then plug it into the.
Yeah, so 4 times x squared is equal to 4x squared. 4 times 0x is going to be 0x. And 4 times negative 8 is going to be negative 8. So this one's going to subtract it off. It's going to be negative 2x plus 0. So then your answer is going to be 3x to the 3rd plus 0x squared plus 5x plus 4 minus 2x over x squared minus 2. So those are the harder one, and you're gonna get some practice tonight or about those harder one, but I'm gonna just give you one to let you try it. If it doesn't work because those are the questions are very rare. So none of the things that right now we're gonna teach is on SAT or standardized test, but it's gonna be in terms of if some of you guys go to higher level math, or you're gonna see those in Calc 2. Okay, so not Calc 1, but Calc 2. Okay, so rarely that you do this. But still, it's a skill that you really need to have, just like completing the square. A lot of you guys still missing the completed square. So I really need you to come back on Monday and Tuesday to do the test corrections. Okay? So I need to make sure you guys understand all that stuff. Are we okay here? Okay, so we're gonna talk about there are other things called synthetic division and the remainder theorem. We're gonna give you a try on those questions. But so we're gonna move this to the other side. It's okay, it's right here. Okay. So we're gonna look at the last question. The last question we divided by x squared minus 2, right? And that has to be done with long division. It cannot do any other way but long division. So then we say, hey, is any shorter way, which is you have anticipated before because your last year teacher probably did teach this part, is called synthetic division, because that's more common. This is more common. Okay? So what you do is you're gonna follow this direction. So what is synthetic division? Is an easier way to do long division? Synthetic division. So, requirement. Now this one is probably the most important thing to understand. When to use long division, when to use synthetic division. So, requirement is this. When the divisor was whatever you divide to, is 1x plus a number or 1x minus a number. So if you realize the previous question I did is x squared plus 2. Therefore, you have to use long division. But in this case, if you have x plus c, then it's going to work. If x minus c, then you can use synthetic division. Synthetic division is super easy. Okay, but just a lot of you guys probably forget where to add, where to subtract. But here's one example. Example is this. If example, this one doesn't work. So example is if we use x plus 2 or x minus 4, they both work. But not work at this case. What is it? X squared plus 2 when the divisor is x squared plus 2, or 3x minus 4. So that first coefficient is not 1. So divisor, you can do this, but just take a little bit of understanding. You have to make sure your synthetic division is in fractions, so you don't want to do that. Okay. Are we okay here?
Yeah.
Nick, come back to me. You like zone out for like 15 minutes, and it's like,
I lost you at requirement.
I know you did. I'm so sorry. Hopefully you're gonna come back. Okay, so requirement, the divisor has to be x plus 2 or x minus 4. True. I agree with you.
I'm gonna do it right at the door.
Who you teach the subject?
Let's push for it.
Okay. Anyway, so what happened here, the first step is change the sign of a divisor and put in a box. So change the sign. So what do you mean the sign? This one, plus 2. So if I change the sign, is what?
-2.
-2, and put in a box. That's a lot easier than it looks. Okay, number 2. Second step is write down all the coefficient. Write all coefficient for the dividend. I think that's how it's spelled, dividend, but whatever. For dividend, include placeholder, holder, with a 0. Okay, including placeholder with a 0. So that's the second step. Okay, so we're gonna do that. what is the coefficient? 3? What's the next coefficient? 0, because those are placeholder. Because x cubed, and then this one's gonna go down 0, and there's a 4, and there's negative 10. And you leave some space here. The third step is gonna be you draw an arrow and drop the first term. So that's the first term you draw arrow. The reason why you use to draw arrow there, you're not going to use the space at all. So when 3 is dropped, it's going to be right here, right? The fourth step is you're going to multiply the box and add. This is a column, right?
Yeah.
Add a column, okay? So what we're gonna do is take this number, multiply it by the box. Are you follow me? Nick, come back to me. I don't know what you're drawing, but.
What does that say for number 3? Draw the.
Number 3, draw the arrow and drop the first term. Draw the arrow and drop the first term. And you take it 3 times negative 2. So now it's going to be 3 times negative 2. You're going to multiply the box, right? So use that first term to multiply the box. It's going to be what? Negative 6. And then you're going to add a column. So it's going to be negative 6. Negative 6 times negative 2? 12. That's going to be what? 16. 16 times negative 2?
32.
That's going to be negative 42, right? So then what you're going to write is, you write the answer with 1 less degree. So write the answer with the 1 less degree. Okay, 1 less degree. So here I'm going to drop that 3 down. With 1 less degree to 3 is what?
2.
Square minus 6x plus 16 minus 42 over x plus 2. See that same work here can be represented in this. Can be represented with this.
That's really just that. Whoa, hold on. So all that stuff, you can do that?
No, but with the requirement is this, x plus c and x minus c. But in this case, the divisor is x plus a number, right?
You did this.
But I also did a hard question with the x squared minus 2. You had to use a long division. There's no synthetic division.
So with that one, you can't do synthetic division?
No. With the harder one, it was the x squared. So the requirement has to be x plus 2. X minus 2. You cannot have 3x minus 4. You cannot divide like that. That has to use long division. So you know when to use and when not to use. That's more important than anything else, because I'm pretty sure all you guys will figure out how to use long division, how to do synthetic division. But you guys don't know when to use what. That's more crucial than anything. The only time I will use is x plus a number or x minus a number. Not x to the 3rd degree, not x to the 2nd degree, not 3x minus 4, not 3x minus 2. But just x plus a number or x minus number. So here, done much quicker. So today we learned a shorter way to do something called synthetic division. You can try this question now. So I want you to try this question. The first question on the top, it says x to the 4th minus 2x to the 3rd minus 11x squared.
Synthetic, right?
Yeah, because can you use synthetic here because it's an x plus 2, right?
Yeah.
It's 1x plus 2. So remember, first step, change the sign. Second step, write all the coefficient of the dividend, which is all the polynomial, the long polynomial you're trying to divide to. And then draw the arrow, drop the first term, and then solve it. And then your answer is going to be 1 less degree than s. And last, we're going to talk about remainder theorem. Okay, so here. don't change the sign. And you just
What'd you get? Oh wait, isn't that a problem?
Yeah, the top right.
No. Oh, I see it. Wait, try and do it again. Not this side. That's pretty cool.
It's a lot more efficient. Check your answer with each other to make sure they get the same answer. If not, then we can do it on the side.
The one on the top of the check one too.
The answer.
So, this is one.
So look,
You have to see that.
you see the X.
You're gonna do this, right? Take it forward.
Yeah, but I did that right though. Just those one. I did it right. Come back, I'm done.
What? I was like, you just
Whoa. Oh, yeah.
Already showed me.
Yeah, we're doing this one. You chose the first one.
What was the original
Negative
question
2
for
times
this
1,
one?
3 negative 2.
This one here
No, the one you were, the one you were.
was 3x to it's over there, 3x cubed plus 4x minus 10 divided by x.
You did so like.
Wait, if it's plus two, why is it
I know I'm
negative two
making
in the log?
Look at it.
Oh,
Change the sign of divisor. So the sign is plus 2, you change it minus 2.
Oh, there, that's what. Oh, no wonder why. I messed it up. Yeah, I got it. Yeah, I did. No,
porque
wait.
cuatro.
I just did it wrong.
Eso fue lo que no entendí, me perdí.
Oh, I thought you had this chat. That's what
Este lo
happened.
multiplicó
Wait,
se le dio 6.
is that negative?
Este lo multiplicó con el 2.
¿Cuál
Wait, what's that negative?
El menos 6
The opposite of
con el
sign?
2.
Yeah.
El
El 2
dos.
menos el 2 se multiplicó con el
Oh,
2 y le damos los 32.
I did it.
I got it.
Dos. Sería 24.
You got it. It's right there. I mean, I just know how to do it. So.
Pero, no, yo lo entendí hace, pero
I got it right there.
It's on the board.
Oh.
Yeah, I got it right.
Okay, so what'd you get for answers?
I got X cubed.
Wow, it's right there,
4x
wasn't it?
squared minus 3x plus 11 plus 12 over x plus 2.
Did you get it right?
Yes.
It's pretty easy, right?
Yeah.
It's not hard. So what you're gonna do is you just make sure your answer is correct. Every time you're doing this type of problem, you just have to be consistent with the signs and make sure you don't make the simple mistakes. So a lot of time math is a discipline. Like you just have to keep a track. You have to be aware of what number is. That's okay. So I'm gonna give you this polynomial here. Okay, so there's some type of polynomial. And what does the f of -2 mean?
You plug
Plug
it
in
in.
negative 2 to X.
Plug in -2 for x. Okay, so what I'm gonna do is I'm gonna use my phone for the first time. But I'm gonna time you. See how long does it take you to evaluate that -2, and they're gonna so I'm gonna time you. I'm gonna use the phone for education purpose.
You gotta turn it on, you gotta throw it out the window.
X cubed. And then it's gonna be 4x squared.
So I want you to evaluate that -2, and don't make sure you don't make mistakes. Okay? So let's see how long it's gonna take you.
Which one?
That's the equation. I want you to find out f of -2 is.
So if you plug in -2, you just get the answer. wouldn't you?
Yeah, you get an answer, but we want to see how long does it take you. Right now, 20 seconds already passed by.
Mister, which problem?
This problem on the bottom. Now I want you to, this f of -2, that just means plug in -2 for x. What is the what's f of x is equal to? So let's see how long it's gonna take you. Takes a lot of time, right? Of course, we're gonna teach you a shortcut after that. I'm gonna time myself to see how long it takes.
Yeah, I've learned 3 Oh my god, the first one is so right.
This is the.
The rest is fine.
No, pero primero tienes que hacer,
I'll even give you negative 2 to the fifth power. Yes.
Sí, tienes que poner negativo 2, ¿verdad?
Negative 32. No, yeah, negative 32. Yeah.
¿Y ya?
Let me know who's the first one gonna answer.
Oh.
You gonna answer?
Yeah.
Okay, it's 1 minute 15 seconds. What's your answer?
Negative 56.
Very good. Okay.
But I said like before. Like, you know.
We don't know if it's right because a lot of people can get different answers now.
Okay, I'm gonna say I got 2 minutes in. You didn't tell me the answer.
Oh.
I didn't tell you the answer. What's your guess?
I got 48.
48. Okay, so some people say negative 56. Some people say 48.
Negative 48. Negative 48.
Negative 48. Okay. Chris.
Oh, that one right there.
I got negative 48.
What?
Or does it mean and then go?
Oh wait. No. He's against that one. Yeah. Who's against that one?
Bryce Harper is a couple.
That's all it was.
The show 19.
Yep.
He looks like Drew Skin.
So 2 minutes already gone by. You still haven't evaluated something?
Wait.
So I'm gonna do it fast, it makes it so.
That's.
I'll give it in 3 minutes. We're gonna teach you a shortcut of course.
But what's your answer?
A final answer?
Yeah, you got it.
I can't tell you. I'll tell you in 15 seconds.
What you got?
Negative 56.
166.
So 2 people got negative 56. 2 people got negative 48.
10 off. For my answer.
Shoddy, I don't.
The right answer is negative 56.
Hey!
But it takes him a minute to do, a minute and 15 seconds. Sai was the fastest one. So let's see if we can outdo him because he's pretty fast. So we're gonna show you a shortcut, okay? We're gonna see how long it's gonna take you. So what I wanna do is this. What is remainder theorem? Remainder theorem is basically really easy. Don't change the sign. Don't change the sign. So that's negative 2. Stay with negative 2. And use synthetic division to evaluate the y value. The y value is equal to the last thing in the box. The last thing come up. Okay, so I want to see how long it takes you. So the thing is this, I'm just doing negative 2 here. We're going to tell you the answer is negative 56. But we're going to write down all the coefficients, including the 0, negative 1, and 4, and negative 12, and negative 8. And
Wait, where did the minus
I
one
knew you
come
could do
from?
that.
That's great.
Oh, and then the 0.
so whatever in this box is your evaluation.
The 0 because we're moving the square.
Okay, try again. Try the fastest way. Let's see if you know how to do long division. So this is called remainder theorem. Remainder says if you do synthetic division with a number that you are supposed to evaluating, whatever remainder is going to be your evaluations. We know the answer is the right answer, so negative 56 is right. But let's see how long does it take you. And you don't have to deal with a lot of negative signs.
I finished.
It's much faster, right?
Are you finished?
Yeah.
Oh god. You too?
And you got it?
I
Same
got
thing,
it.
right?
I got it. What do you got?
I got this, but like.
So you jump the first
I don't
turn,
know what to do.
Wait, what?
then you're gonna get 3,
I got some other number.
right? 3 times negative 2 is what?
Negative 6.
Negative 6, you don't have to deal with the big number, you just deal with small number. This is 12, this is 11, 11 times 2, it's gonna be negative 22, I think, and then that's gonna be negative 18. Negative 18 times negative 2 is 36,
Okay.
that's 24. 24 times negative 2 is negative 48. And guess what? Your answer is negative 56.
That's it?
That's it. Your answer is right here, negative 56. It's much quicker than the way that you plug in. So it's called evaluation.
So if we get one of those, like say like with the F, -2, right? We would do that.
Yeah, if the thing's long. If something like 2x plus 5, plug in
So
the
if
2.
we got a long division like that, but then instead of it having the x squared minus 2 on the side, it would be like f of x is like -2.
Yeah, well, if it's shorting, like this, right? I'll just plug in because it's much faster to plug in, right? Now, if it's a long, like polynomial, then you use this where it's much more efficient. Try with that. This is the second question. I want you to try Remainder Theorem. And see what weapon you get.
Sorry.
So the second question over there on the board, see how long does it take you to do. It's gonna be much quicker when you, especially you don't know what's -3 to the 4th power. I mean, I know, but you don't. So then you have to do -3 times -3 times -3 times -3. Take like 5 minutes to do that one.
No, I got something, but I think I'm wrong.
I think the answer was something like
I got 55.
I got 3 digits.
55.
Yeah, I got 55.
So now everybody is pretty consistent. Now everybody getting right answers.
No,
Except one person.
I did the same thing. I'm gonna try to do it in my head as fast as I can, but it just messes me up.
55.
Better to just write it down.
Okay, I did the first 3 steps.
Nicole, you got us?
Oh.
Okay, so
I didn't know she had to do
this one here. It's
Yeah.
quick.
That's why if you try to do it in your head, you're gonna go way too fast, and then you just go.
No, I got everything, I just couldn't know yet to.
So you see that evaluation is much quicker.
Damn, I wish I wish the test would just be that. And
Yeah, this is a longer way to do it? Okay. See how long does that take, right?
I wish
So which way you prefer? I don't know. I prefer the easier way.
synthetic
I prefer the
and.
easier way.
Depends on what kind of question, really. If it's 2 terms, then it's much easier to plug in. If it's like 6 terms,
Right?
yeah, I do select division. That's much quicker.
I just feels like I'm trying to do it way too fast.
Right?
Synthetic and Remainder Theorem, I like.
Like,
I don't like the other one.
Yeah.
What is the
Like
other
trying
one
to go in
called?
your head super
I
fast.
like synthetic, the
Long division.
Optimus Rose.
So
Oh,
big.
I
Like I put
That's so big. I hate on the, I don't know what
On
this
the
is.
first one, I added up -22 and 4, and he gave me -26.
-7, -7 is 21. See, this value is 55, much quicker. Now, if you do the same thing as she did it take a long time, right? Take too long to do. So sometimes with a shortcut on math, there's a lot of shortcut to do things. You gotta know when to use what. Whatever faster way to do it, then that's kind of what it's gonna take.